Cynthia, and today I'm going to do a book review on What I Know for Sure, a book written by Oprah Winfrey. And a little background on Oprah: she is an American TV host, an actress, author, philanthropist, billionaire, self-made billionaire, and honestly, I cannot list her entire life achievements without losing breath. Oprah wrote this book about her life stages from childhood to young adult to adult, and you would say it's kind of like a diary or like an accumulation of all her life experiences. And Oprah has lived a very rich life with soaring highs and devastating lows, so she has a lot of wisdom to give. This book has 8 topics, and each topic is a chapter. So I'm going to delve in deeper, and I'm going to talk about the 5 biggest lessons that I learned from this book. And I have them written down in my phone here. So if I look at my phone, it's only because I want to remind myself of the lessons. So lesson number 1 that she talks about loving yourself. And she says it in a form of a story. So she had a friend. She had an artist that she loved. So one time she was with a group of friends and she was humming the song. So her friend says, I like that song that you're humming. And she's like, yeah, and I like the artist too. And then she's like, oh, really? So you like the artist? Wow. So when is your birthday so I can bring this artist for you? And then she realized, actually, she wanted to get the artist for herself for her birthday. And then she realized that it was too much trouble. So, and then she, later on in the night, she realized that she was willing to go to the trouble to get the artist for her friend and then for herself. And then she thought to herself, wow, isn't that something? Like, I'm willing to go through the trouble to make my friend happy, but I'm not willing to do it for myself. And that makes you think that you need to learn to love yourself. You need to ensure that your cup is filled before you fill other people's cups, basically. So you need to love yourself. And I guess it stems from a place of, if you are not full, if you're not complete, or if you don't love yourself, you cannot fully love others. So it makes sense. So that's one of the lessons that I got from this book. Then the other lesson was the importance of loving others. And she wrote this in a very beautiful way. So I'm just going to go ahead and read what she wrote on that topic. So she says, when you make loving others the story of your life, there's never a final chapter because the legacy continues. You lend your light to one person and he or she shines it onto another and another and another. And I know for sure that in the final analysis of our lives, when the to-do lists are normal, when the frenzy is finished, when our email inboxes are empty, the only thing that will have any lasting value is whether we loved others and whether they loved us. And it makes you think, isn't it the purpose of being on this earth is to fully love others and love yourself? So that was also one of the other big lessons that I got from this book, and that was very beautifully written and very inspirational. The other lesson that I learned was gratitude. So Oprah in the book has a system of rating the different types of experiences she has. So in the book she writes about, say for example, when she's having a cup of tea, she gives it like a 5-star rating because she's enjoying the experience, she's savoring every taste, every sip of her tea is immaculate, so she gives it a 5-star rating. Then she talks about how she enjoys reading books seated under her oak tree, which is actually the logo on the book, and I think that is very cute. So she says she gives that like a 5-star rating as well because it brings her enormous joy, tremendous joy. Yeah. So then she also talks about like walking her dogs in the fields, or maybe she's taking a stroll in the woods, and she gives it like a 4-star rating. So I feel like that's important and a big lesson to me, because you realize these are not like big life altering things. Like she's not talking about winning the Nobel Prize or anything. It's just sipping coffee, walking her dogs, reading a book under her oak tree. And it makes you think that it's the small things in life that you should be grateful for. And this is a big lesson to me, because recently I just started journaling, and once you start journaling, you open up your mind and you become like fully aware of the different experiences that you are experiencing in life. So every single day you can write down like what you're grateful for, and it makes you realize that life is meant to be lived in the now. Yes, it's good to have goals and all that, but the now is what matters, to be fully aware and be fully present in a moment and enjoy your the sip of your tea, enjoy walking your dogs, enjoy reading a book, enjoy exercising, enjoy spending time with your friends, and fully being grateful for these moments. And that's what the premise of a life fully lived. So that was one big lesson I got from this. The other is continuous self-improvement. And the reason why I loved this lesson is because she writes a time when she was going for an algebra test and she did not want to do that test. She was hoping that she doesn't do that test, and luckily enough, as fate would have it, that day they told them to go to the auditorium because they were going to hear a speech from one of the civil rights people, Jesse Johnson. And Jesse Johnson talks about how he, working under the wing of Martin Luther King, he had learned a lot. And he talks about how, you know, at the time when Oprah was still young, there was still a lot of racism happening at the time. And he talks about how being excellent is a deterrent to racism. So this opened Oprah's eyes, and she's like, I want to be that. I want to be excellent. I want to be excellent in every single little thing that I do. And this was a big lesson for me, because I realized you can be excellent in the small things, because at the end of the day, those small things compound to greater things. Say, for example, you decide to maybe exercise daily, and it's not a big thing, you don't see a change there and then, but over time, like, time magnifies your results. Like, be excellent in every single thing that you do. So that's one of the big lessons that I got from this book. And the other important, probably my last lesson that I got from this book, was speak positive about others. Oprah talks about how it's important to speak positively about others. The moment you start speaking negatively about anybody else, it kind of usually speaks more about you than about that person. It's probably your insecurities that are making you speak all these negative things about a person. And what people don't understand is that there's a whole psychology behind the gossip and speaking negatively about other people, and it is called the spontaneous straight reference effect. When you are talking to someone else about someone else, say you're talking to A about C, the traits that you are explaining to A about C, they start seeing those same traits in you. It's a whole psychological thing. So you have to be careful about gossiping and speaking negatively about people, because if you are talking to someone about someone else in a negative sense, they start to kind of see those same traits in you, because it's just psychology. And Oprah says that it's important to speak power into people, speak positively, because those are the small changes that impact the world, I should say, because, you know, everything almost begins in a small group, your home, your friends. So if you make it a decision to start speaking positively about yourself, about the people around you, it ultimately affects you in the best way possible as you continue on with life. Now, at the end of this book, Oprah says, what I know for sure, your journey begins with a choice to get up, step out, and live fully. And I should say that this book impacted me so much so that I would recommend this to anybody, especially the young adults. Maybe I should say the girls in their 20s. I feel like this will be very impactful in their lives. And my rating for this book, I think I'll give it a 4 out of 5. And only because that I felt like this book lacked the practical bit. I feel like she should have put probably some exercises, say like the gratitude exercises. Maybe there would be a page, say, like, list down the 5 things you're grateful for, so that it could help us, like, kind of put the concepts in the book into practice and take us from the knowing to the becoming. But other than that, I love this book and I highly recommend it. A 4 out of 5 is still way up high, so please go ahead and buy this book. I'm pretty sure it will change your life just like it transformed mine. Thank you, everybody. That was it, my review on What I Know for Sure, a book by Oprah Winfrey. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, and you can tell me about for those that have read it, you can tell me what you think about it down below in the comment box. And you can go ahead and click on that notification bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you very much. Cynthia, bye.